Let me welcome our viewers now. So welcome viewers to our episode 24 of Kapi Poha session and Ittefaq series. And this is going to be our second last episode. And I think next week we'll end up with all the episodes being done for season 2. And for today we have our guest speaker as Meera Muralidharan. She's a doctor and she's done her PhD in history. And she's also got a master's done in history as well. One, she got it done from JNU. There is from Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. Another one she got it from Netherlands, that is Leiden, and now Leiden University. Now she's in New Zealand, and I think she's a teaching fellow in Wellington University in New Zealand. So I'm really glad to have her on the show, and she's my cousin as well. And I'm meeting her after almost 5 years. I've not seen her from a very long time as well. So welcome to the show, Meera, and my youngsters. So would love to hear about the love of history you have and. That's the reason I wanted you to come on the show, because you love about it. There's a passion you have follow, which is for traveling as well as history, and you're also making a career in arts. So that is one of the reasons I wanted you to come on the show. So that people get to know why if they take history also, they can make a career in that, and there are a lot of opportunities available for them in that. So yeah, over to you, Meera. You can introduce yourself to the viewers as well.
Sure. Thank you so much. As I was saying, like I feel quite privileged to be part of this, series, and I was looking through the old, like some of the past speaker series, and I feel quite privileged to be here today. And as you just introduced, I've just finished. I finished my PhD in history last year, and I'm currently working with the university at here, Victoria University of Wellington, and I've been doing history for almost 10 years now. Yeah, I think 10 years now. So. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this specific topic is also because there is this misconception in especially in India that, if you are taking history, that's because either you didn't get into science or commerce. So arts or humanities is always like kind of looked down, right? So every time I've said to somebody that I'm taking history, one of the questions I get asked is it because you didn't get into science or commerce? So that's something that I've always wondered why people thought history is one of those lesser subjects or any art subjects for that matter. Mm-hmm. And I was just, preparing for this, and I was also kind of trying to remember when I started loving history, but I don't think there was any specific moment or incident that I can, point to say that, okay, this is when I decided I wanted to take history. I think it came quite naturally, and it was quite organic. And I remember looking forward to all these social studies, classes in my school. That was like my favorite class to look forward to. And I always liked social studies, like not just history, but like civics and geography and all the art subjects. So it was quite natural, I would say. And
I think you were a topper in school as well. I just remember that when you used to top in school as well, and people were thinking that your photos had come in the papers, and also people thought you were going for science or commerce.
Yeah. So I was always like good at studies. Sorry, I didn't get you. Sorry.
When you took history, humanities as a subject stream, and in 11th, 12th, that +1, +2 time, people were very surprised and shocked as well why a student who's good at academics is picking up such a subject. I also remember having those conversations and being part of the discussions as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny story, because I remember, like, I went to my school after my 10th results came out, and I told my social science teachers that I'm going to take history. I said that with so much of pride, and they advised me that, if you're not interested in science, you should at least take commerce. That was the advice I was given, even by my social studies teacher, because even they did not think that, one can actually like history or like love history or social science and make a career out of it, rather than, being a teacher. So it was quite like that ways I still remember it was quite a funny time. But I think one thing I should mention here is that my parents never asked me why I wanted to take history. Like that's actually, like, it's a big surprise to a lot of people, because I think Indian parents have this thing that, their kids should either take like engineering or medicine or, other related subjects. But my parents never asked me why I wanted to take history. They gave me all the freedom to choose whichever subject I wanted. So that was quite, I would say, quite helpful. They were quite supportive in that. And I think that's something that no parent should have a say on. Like, it should be the student's choice to, take whichever subject they want to. And as you said, I did quite well in like my school and college, and a lot of people advised me that I should take civils. Because that idea that if you're really good, you have to either prepare for civils, or you should take engineering, or you should take medicine, that it is so embedded in people's mind that they can't think of, think outside the box. So one of the reasons I wanted to take history is not to prove people, but it was just from the pure love I had for the subject. And I did not think a lot back then, like if I would make a career out of it, or how is my future going to be. But I just wanted to learn that, and I was very clear about it. I think from my standard 7th, I was very clear that I wanted to take history. And I think one incident that I can recollect is I was reading this reading about Indus Valley civilization, and that specific chapter I remember. I read that and I was like, okay, this is what I should do. This is what I should be doing. And initially it was, I wanted to do archaeology. So like, again, like a related subject. So it was not particularly history, but I was very much interested in doing archaeology. And then later, like when I went to JNU, I took papers in both history and archaeology, and I realized that, okay, archaeology is not something that I had in my, like, it's not the Indiana Jones movie that you see in, that's not the image. Actually, you have to actually go out in the field. It's not an easy job to do. So I shifted to history, actually.
So again, even masters, I mean, the journey for you has been like two times you've done masters, basically. One in JNU and Leiden. How come people find it so difficult to do one masters itself when you've done it 2 times as well? And how did it happen?
So this specifically, that's why when you asked me to talk about a subject, I said I should talk about history and traveling, because I can't separate them from my life. Because if I have, I think I've kind of traveled like 12, 13 countries, and all these travel was related to my academics. So it was either my higher studies, or it was for an academic conference, or it was like a field trip. So my travel was always connected to my academics. So I don't know if this is a good piece of advice, or this is probably not something that my professors would like. But the reason I did apply to Europe was because I wanted to travel Europe. So when I was in JNU, like I had completed my masters, and I wanted to see the world. I wanted to like leave India and like see. Basically, I was specific that I wanted to travel Europe, and I applied for the scholarship from the Netherlands, and I got through. And that was for a master's degree again. But so I did my master's in Indian history from JNU, and then I did my master's from colonial and global history from Leiden. So my second master's was purely inspired from this idea of traveling Europe. And back then, like a lot of students from Kerala, we did not specialize in Dutch history. So that was that was another reason. Like a lot of I think even now, like there has been a lot of focus on British history, which is quite obvious with the colonial history. But then there's like a lot of people don't know that before the British came to India, there's also the Portuguese, trade, and the Dutch spice trade that was happening. So I thought, why not look at something, pre-British? So that was this other reason. But the main reason was definitely my love for traveling.
That's good. That's very interesting to know. Basically, I'm also a traveler. I love traveling, so probably I also look for the history places. Basically, I look for story. So for me, I also like history as a subject, but the reason I love history is because I want to know more about the place, and I want to know the story behind it. How come, what the local life is all about, what the local cuisine is all about. How come that place has got that charm that if tourists are coming, or people from different places are coming and visiting. So that's what I love about history. So yeah, so I can relate to it when you say that traveling made you choose history. It can be, and but maybe you were at a younger age when you could choose that subject as well. By the time I realized that I had a passion for travel and all those things, I had passed that age of choose doing a master's or any educational degree over there.
Like most of the times when people ask me this question, they expect some inspiring story that, it was my love for history, or love to study in that specific university. But that's not the case. I just wanted to travel Europe. That's the only reason I applied for scholarships outside India.
So how has been your, I mean, you've shared your journey for the love of history, but how has been your journey as a student, international student basically? You've studied in New Zealand, Netherlands as well. So how was the exposure to you? What is it, has it given you a value addition in terms of your qualification? So it definitely has, but how is everything altogether has come across to you?
Yeah, most definitely. Because like this is something that I always tell my students here also and my friends. Like education for me is not about the degrees and certificates that you earn. It's definitely
Hmm.
not about that. Like when people, congratulate me about my PhD and ask about my PhD, it's not just about the certificate, the PhD certificate. It's about what you're learning outside the books, outside the university that actually help you in your life.
Hmm.
So like I'm sure you will understand, like I had a very protected childhood in Kerala, like the family and all. And then like leaving going so I left home like the first time I moved out of my hometown was when I went to JNU, just
Hmm.
like back in 2011. So it's been like
Hmm.
almost 10 years now. But going like leaving the country was completely a different experience, because you start, there are minor things, like it's not the big achievements, it's about the minor things, like just learning how to manage your money, like making sure that you know how to, like just paying your bills, managing the rent, very small things, but which actually help you to live independently. And also how you talk and deal with people from different cultures,
Hmm.
and just that being more open and more adaptable and being more flexible with things.
Hmm.
So that has been quite like a learning experience. And I remember being very homesick for the first, not just 1 year, probably 1.5 years in JNU. I was very homesick. I like every time I had like a semester break, I wanted to just come home. I did not, I that idea of leaving home was terrifying. But again, it's just that love for what you were doing. Like I loved what I was studying there. So if I had taken a subject which was not my choice, I probably would have left it like long time ago. It
Hmm.
was just that that love you have for what you do keeps you,
Hmm. Hmm.
helps you survive the whole homesickness and everything. So yeah, learning like I'm just trying to remember. Like probably it's like I don't have like a very concise answer, but like the daily things of managing your finances, meeting people from different backgrounds, cultures, like also like life skills, like learn also learning when to say no. Things that you kind of pick up on the go. So these things you like nobody teaches you, and nobody it's not written in any of the books. So I think like staying away from home and like leaving the country has taught me like a lot of different things, rather than just earning the degrees. And
Do
I'm
you?
sure you can say more about like how traveling changes you as a person.
Yes, absolutely. It's transformational. So what I want to, because when I went different countries and I was talking about India, I was feeling very proud of being an Indian. Because I talk about more about my culture now rather than earlier. Because earlier I used to take it for granted. But when
Mm-hmm.
somebody started asking me about different parts of India, where I belong, where I've traveled, whether I know the east of India, whether I know the west side of India, what's special in India, which festival is being celebrated. So I used to think, yeah, there's so much to offer from my own country. The knowledge, do I have that enough knowledge with me? And that's the thing. So yeah, probably I can understand what you're saying. I can relate to that as well, because traveling changes you completely. And I think for you also, when you are representing India also at various forums as well, right? You must be among
Also,
the
I
most.
think you don't think about your nationality when you're in the country. I
Hmm.
realized how much of an Indian I am when I left India.
Yeah.
When you are at a dinner or when you're at a coffee place and people are introduced and they're talking about their culture, and then you start talking about your culture, what do you know? Again, like the culture you represent, the country you represent, and then you realize how much of like an Indian are you. Like similarly,
Hmm.
when I left Kerala to like and went to Delhi, I was like, oh my god, there's like that Malayaliness in you. You realize that when you leave your hometown. And these are things
Yes.
that you either I don't know, you don't think about it when you're in your
It's
home or in your
embedded
country.
in you, right? It's subconscious and it's embedded in you, so it doesn't come out like that.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't
we
come out at all.
so when we even if we meet, we'll not talk about Kochi as such. We'll talk about general stuff, right? But when you
Yeah.
move out of when somebody asks, "Oh, you're from Kochi. Kochi has so many things," then you realize, "Oh, yeah." my place
And I
has this
can't
feeling.
tell you how many times I've been so embarrassed when, people from other countries have told me how they've traveled to many states in India. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't been to like probably I haven't seen 80% of my own country. Because that the idea that, okay, it's my country, I can go there anytime, but you never go. So even now I'm like, I can say that I have went to Europe, I have traveled like I've been to New Zealand, I've been to Singapore, but have I been to my neighboring states? Probably not. So that's something I regret. I feel quite embarrassed that I haven't seen my own country probably.
So what? So I also, I mean, I had when I started traveling, when I took a sabbatical from my career to travel. So the one of my friend gifted me two maps. Okay, so one is the world map, and the other one is a physical map, because physical map is because of trekking, so that I get to know which are beautiful places, so that I could go for trekking and look at the nature. And the other one is for the world tour. If I have to travel abroad, that is the map I should refer. So it is always there on my room, basically. So whenever I want to look at any place which I want to go, then I look at the history of that place. So that's how I am linked to that history. Tell us about your growing up years in Kerala. How was it? I mean, you studied in Lucy College, right? Here,
Yeah.
and you went to a CBSE school as well, not the Kerala State School when you were in
No,
Kerala.
no. Yeah.
So
I
how
think
was it?
I don't know. So like I don't again, like I don't know, quite unfortunate, but I don't miss my school as such. I know a lot of people like still miss their school days, but missed my college. I think
Mm-hmm.
my time, 3 years in my in UC College, Alva, was probably the best time in my life. Like in terms of extracurricular activities, in terms of academics, in terms of I was even part, like I even was part of the elections, and I was the vice chairperson. So I don't know, that is one place that I really miss. Again, like growing up, like I think family wise, I'm sure you'll understand, it's like any typical middle class Indian family, how quite protective, quite my since my mother was a teacher, she was quite strict and quite disciplined. But college for me was like fun, like so much fun. Again, like I was not thinking about oh my God, I have to make a career in history. Like I was learning history for fun. And like I was just, it was part of me, and I didn't think too much. And we also, so UC College also offered this course in archaeology and museology on Saturdays. I think that's probably one of the 3 or 4 colleges in Kerala that actually offers that course. So even like most Saturdays I was in college, and for the first time, so for me the transition happened when I left my CBSE school upbringing to go to college. I was this very silent, studious student in class who never, I was still part, like I used to attend all this dance, and I used to go for all these extracurricular activities, but I was not very talkative as such. But then college for me was entirely very transformational, because once I started campaigning for my elections, oh my God, that is one place I actually miss. So I don't, when I go back home, I don't go to visit my school or my school friends or my JNE friends, but UC College is that one place that I go, and I still stay in touch with my friends there. And yeah, I think that is also one of the reasons when I was in. So when I came back from Europe after my studies, I also taught there in UC for almost a year. I was a guest lecturer in history there. Again, that was purely because I loved that place so much that I wanted to go back as a teacher. And
That's
it's one of those places that I wouldn't say it inspired to me to become some, but just the people, the friends I had were like so loving and caring. I don't think I have felt that warmth anywhere.
It's like a home for you, little home there.
Oh yes, oh yes.
So yeah, tell me about your favorite childhood memory.
I was thinking, so this is that question I was, because I can't pick like one childhood memory, but everything connected with food is my favorite memory. So if after history and traveling, is the third thing that I love is food. So Onam, Vishu, like anything related to Sadhya, like all the weddings, like, and also Ulsavam. So think, because it's with with the whole COVID, um, I haven't been home for the last 2 years, so I think I miss food. I miss attending sadhyas. Like when I was in like when I was home, I hated going for all these weddings where you don't know half of the people. It's like some cousin's wedding. But now I miss going to such weddings and having sadhya and like everything connected with food. And obviously all my memories with my Amuma and Treshama, like all I just miss those. So I don't have like one particular childhood memory, but everything connected with all the festivals. I think I just miss them. Yeah, time spending with my family. And I used to love when, you and like all my cousins used to come down for summer vacations. I remember because both me and my sister, we were home. So for us, cousins coming to visit us was like our festival. So I remember looking forward to, like I remember like my mother used to say that, okay, next month Amu Chechi will come or Renji Chechi. And we used to look forward to that. So I think those are like my best childhood memories.
Yeah, so even I also remember my vacation time being my best memories. I mean, when I look at childhood memories, so yeah, whenever I used to come here, spend time with, with Bayama, Treshrama, and grandmother Amma and all. So that's one of the time when everybody used to be together. So yeah, so that's a beautiful memory I also carry. So yeah, being in Delhi, that's the only time we used to get to meet cousins as well. So a
Yeah.
lot of things, a lot of values I've got it from our ancestral place or the vacation I've spent here at Tarwad and
Yeah,
all.
I think also we never used to have this. We were not addicted to phone, so there was no WhatsApp and Facebook and or Orkut and so it was all about looking forward to that time of the year when you have like all your cousins
Chatting
coming
late
together.
night, sitting late night, talking about a lot of things.
I know. I remember. I think we used to stay late when you were home. We used to stay until like 2 and 3 and talk about like really random things. But oh my god, it
Random
was
things.
like so
Yeah,
much fun.
I also remember that. I don't know what we used to talk. I don't know the subject, whatever we used to talk, but it used to be late nights, maybe sometimes, and used to be fun as well because my Amuma also used to stay
Yeah,
with
yeah. The
us.
entire house
I
would be like
know
up
she
for like
understood. Yeah, but she loved having all her grandchildren around her,
yes,
taking care of
yeah,
her. That's what mattered.
yeah.
Yeah. So this initiative which I've started, Meera, recently is about, it's called NiMiTHAM. So NiMiTHAM is a Malayalam
Mm,
word which means reason, and also this is about having a life skill workshop for youngsters basically. So we're planning to do these sessions for 11th, 12th school kids or basically college kids because this is something life skills are not taught in school. That's
yeah,
the reason we started off.
yeah.
So I just want to know what do you feel about life skill? Are they important? And according to you, which one is important?
Definitely, they're like very important. Probably you realize it much later in your life. I don't want to sound old. I'm not that old. For people who are listening, I'm not that old. I have to say this. I don't know why you wanted me to talk about life skills. I'm not that old. I have to say that. But still, you realize much later in life that the things that you should be learning in school is how to manage your finance, how to be independent,
Hmm.
how to talk to people or how to manage bureaucracy and paperwork. These are things that you should actually know. These are things that will actually help you to live your life after after you leave your like 20s or you leave your home. I think for me, again, like there are so many life skills I can think of, but definitely something that I have realized like later is it's okay to make mistakes. It's completely okay to fail in life. I don't know. Failure is something that has been, that's some such, it has been, I don't know. It's one of those words that you're so scared of because from a very young age, you're told not to make mistakes. So every step you're so cautious, you're
Yeah.
so scared. At least I was like, because I was a studious student, like very, everyone liked because I used to score well. So I had this image to upkeep, like, oh my God, I have to do well in academics. I have to be the good girl, and that comes with so much pressure which I didn't realize. So for me, something that I've unlearned is it's okay to fail, it's okay to make mistakes. And I would say I will encourage people to make mistakes because that's how you learn how to how that's how you learn life skills basically. So for me, that has been like one of the major I think learning thing in my life. And it's one of the, and I think you shouldn't tell people do not score less, or it's fine, like be okay with being a failure, right? And it's you can always restart. And the idea connected with age, like you have to achieve by 20s, you have to do this by 30s, you have to get married, have kids, have a career. Oh my God, that is some okay. That is something that I could have answered as for my previous question on leaving your country, because that age factor is not something that I don't think it has a lot of it's not such that much of loaded term outside India, because I when I had classmates who were doing the history degrees in their 40s and 50s after having career in marketing and just coming back, and I was like, okay, this is okay, like I could still take a degree in whichever subject I want in my 50s. I could have still taken a PhD in history in my 60s. It's such a rat race in India. Oh my God, the entire education system is, I don't know, it needs a complete restructuring, I would say, because if you're not somebody by the age of 25, 30, you're considered as a failure. And the things that you
try to fit in the boxes, basically. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. And you will realize how much of freeing it is when you actually, make mistakes, and you like, it's such a trap. You don't realize until, like, I didn't realize until much later. Now I'm in a stage where I'm like, I'm fine if, I'm making a mistake. I'm fine if people don't. Also, the definition of success has changed for me, definitely. Because earlier I thought if I get good marks, if I get a degree, if I get a good job, that is success. But that has changed. I'm in my like 30s now, and for me, now success is being happy and being at peace. Because I had this time in my life when I was getting awards and degrees, and I was very depressed. And I was like, I thought these are things that would make you happy if you, succeed in your academics or if you succeed in your career. But I was never happy. So the idea of success has changed, definitely. The idea of making mistakes and being okay with failure, these are things that I would definitely encourage. So these are things that I tell my students here. If you fail in an exam, that's not the end of your life.
Yes.
It's completely okay. So that's something that I want youngsters to know.
So yeah, what I have realized is that you have to do a lot of unbecoming, basically.
Oh my God.
So
Unlearn.
probably,
And it is more difficult than learning. Unlearning is more difficult. Because you start doubting yourself, because you have all this while you are brought up in such a way, and then unlearning that, and then just standing up for yourself is such a difficult thing to do.
I can totally agree with that. So because when I went for my travel and I came back, the dilemma which I always faced was individuality versus conditioning. So a lot of aspects I have covered it, but there are still, I think there's something major inside me which again has a dilemma, whether I should go for it, not go for it. This is my the conditioning which stops me. However, I mean, the people who have been part of my growing up, or they may not be there now, but the conditioning is so strong that even if they're not there, that is inside you, that the value system and
also
stuff.
I don't know, for women I think this is more because we are brought up in such a way that we have to be likable. You can't be opinion, you can't have opinions. Yeah, like if you have opinions, or if you say somebody, especially somebody who's like elder, that that's wrong and this is what I want, you are considered arrogant. So this idea of being likable, so for a very long time I was so scared that people will not like me if I do something, so like when I look back, like there are so many things I could have done differently if I was not scared of what people thought about me.
Yeah, so what other people's opinion, having your own space is considered as very big thing. Why do you need a space? Basically, people don't understand that it's needed for every human being. It's not for one male or female.
Where is this concept called boundary in Asian household? Yeah. Even today, if I tell my mother, sorry, I need some space, can you not call me? She's going to throw me away from my house. So there is no concept of boundary.
It's not asking something wrong. It's not that you're doing something wrong or something. It's just asking just setting up a boundary, which is very, very rare common thing. You can't talk like that in India. I don't know.
You can't. Yeah, there are certain things that you can't talk. Like I'm sure we had this conversation last time about mental health. There are certain topics we still can't. Mental health is you can't talk about it for another 1 hour. It's a completely different topic, but there are certain things that are still a big no-no in Asian household. Yeah. So that idea of privacy, idea of boundary, like and something that I realized later, it's okay to draw that boundary even with your family members.
Yeah. So even emotion, people, drain you through their emotional outburst as well, which is very difficult to manage. So people,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I think that I don't know. Everywhere I've seen that parents play that role as well. That emotionally they can control the child, or the child can get up. Even the other way around as well. The child can also get away with
Well,
their
I'm
emotions.
telling you, you have to have an entire, like, completely different session on this,
Yeah.
on growing up in.
So what I've
in
done, Meera, is that, like, you know that I've done a book on my travel.
yeah.
Recently, I'm writing a book on Ashtanayaka. So the concept came up because I was meeting a lot of women when I was traveling. It's not one specific woman. I've seen you grow up. I've seen, like, Rinju grow. My cousins grow up in
Yeah.
different towns in Kerala and different parts of India. Similarly, my friends, I've seen them grow up. So what, and also traveler, everywhere. I've met a lot of trek buddies and travel buddies as well. So what came to my mind is, it's not only me who goes through this dilemma of individuality and conditioning. Everybody goes through it, and
Yeah.
there are lot of stories which I've heard. So I wanted to put it in a book. So I was writing about. So this is a story about Ashtanayaka. This is 8 love stories about 8 women, and it talks about all those dilemmas and stuff we all go through basically. And so when the book comes out, you'll also get to know. It talks about a lot of
Oh,
mental health.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it will be helpful for a lot of us. Like, looking forward to the book.
And yet there is no answers to it. It's all questions. So the book is not going to give you an answers, but it will give you that this is a state of mind which a lot of people have.
Yeah, just
So
that's the thing
just
about
access
books.
to
Like, that's the
that,
thing
it is
about
there.
readings, right? Like, when you read something about somebody's experience, you feel less lonely. You
Yeah,
feel like, okay,
absolutely.
somebody, you can relate to that. I think that would just, like, that would make a whole new, I think, difference. Even I remember, like, as you said, like, a lot of people go through the same experience, but we don't talk about it.
It's absolutely, don't talk about it. So you should share, yeah. This all things are there. So I think I've lost Meera, so let her come back. There's a network issue with Meera. I don't know whether is it my problem? No. So hi Shreya, hi Susan, hi everyone. So let me again connect to Meera. So I think it got disconnected, some network issue.
Yeah, I was just wondering what happened.
So yeah, so that's what I thought. So yeah, let me come back to our discussions we were generally having. So I wanted to ask you that you've been a teacher in India as well, abroad as well, now in New Zealand as well. So what is the message you want to give it to youngsters, basically, what they should follow in their life, basically? Or
So again,
is there any?
as I just saying, like, it's okay to, not be so likable. It's completely okay to make mistakes in your life. Like, I actually recommend that you make some mistakes in life, and and it's completely okay to say no. Especially that's something specifically for women. It's completely okay to say no. No is, you. I grew up thinking that if I say no, it's arrogant. It's not. If you don't like something, or if you're not comfortable with something, it's completely okay to say no. And just the
So
idea of, like, being independent, and for women, I think it's very, very important that we are financially independent. I think that gives you a lot of freedom to make your own choices and have your own opinions. So yeah, definitely, most of these things that I was talking about, things that are
so I keep
considered as
So I keep telling my women youngsters, basically, not only the male, not I'm not being a gender specific here, that anybody at the age of 18 should know driving, swimming. Swimming keeps you health wise. It is important. It is good because you don't need anything else. Swimming helps you with your lung capacity, so stuff like that.
yeah.
Driving makes you independent, basically. Third thing is financing. So if these 3 things are there with any youngsters or anybody for that matter, you'll be independent for a long time. So
Oh,
you're
definitely,
whether you're
yeah.
a male, whether you're a female, doesn't matter. But it takes care of lot of issues in your life are sorted, basically.
Yeah, and also, like, the other thing I would say is give equal importance to your mental health, like your physical health. your mental health is like as
I think
important
to
or
talk,
probably
basically
more
people
important
don't
than your
talk.
physical health. Yeah.
People bottle up inside. It's better to talk about it. That's what
Mm.
I have
Yeah.
realized. So people go through ups
Yeah.
and downs. Everything is venting out is okay. Crying is okay. Being weak is
Yeah.
okay. Being vulnerable is okay. So
Yeah.
because I used to bottle up all emotions, so I
Mm.
understand being vulnerable is absolutely fine. It's better to be able to emote stuff. So dancing helped me
Yeah.
to manage
Mm.
my emotions. So
Yeah.
what are your hobbies as well? I know you travel a lot. You read a lot,
Yeah,
basically.
so with the COVID, something that has been like, unfortunately affected is definitely traveling. So what I've been trying to do is like now that I'm done with my PhD, that part of my academic life, I'm trying to, do things that I've always wanted to do because I was always moving. I was in Delhi for 2 years, then I was in Netherlands for 2 years. So now I have like a place, like a second home here in New Zealand. So I've been trying to do things that I always want to do. So I have restarted my dance classes, which I've left long time ago. So COVID helps you with this. That's one good thing that has come out. You can always take classes from anyone from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So I've been taking classes from a dance teacher in India. So that's something that's happening. And New Zealand is good for hiking. So hiking is something that I really enjoy. So I've been taking time out and making sure that I go meet my plan some hiking trips with my friends. So yeah, that's and obviously reading I think comes with, if you are a researcher, I think that's something that you have to do. You have to do a lot of reading. So I've been also trying to read things outside academics now that I have time. So yeah, I'd probably say like these are things that I've been doing probably in the last 1 year after my PhD.
So yeah, I'm done with my question Q&A with you. I mean, whatever I wanted to ask you and wanted to check with you, whatever is your love for history and your journey as well, so that some youngsters can get inspired. Another question I think probably people have asked me when I told them that this session is going to happen on history, that what are the career options available for youngsters? Basically, if they've taken history, 11th, 12th में history ले लिया, then what should they do? I mean, do they have to do PhD and go and teach somewhere? Can they do some research? Can they do some write books or something like that? What are the options? If you can give us
So
a brief.
again, like yeah, academics is definitely the obvious, something that people know that, academic career in history, like you become a lecturer or professor in history. So academics definitely an option, which I wanted, which I was very clear of. But you can always, there are so many other options. Like if you are taking history in your, plus one, plus two, like higher secondary, you can move to other subjects like, as I said, archaeology or geology or anthropology, social work or any other creative fields like creative writing, because there are so many historians who are now turned great authors like Amitav Ghosh, for example, so many great writers. Also you can have a career in, like, say, public relations. What else, like museum curator, and so that's other. So again, like there are so many other career choices that you can't, just because you have a degree in history, that doesn't restrict you from trying other things. It On the other hand, I think having that arts degree, not just history in specific, but having that arts degree is very useful when you have to connect, like, do any work where you're talking with people. I think that public relations is something that you get from arts, because I think, again, it's not a very generalized opinion, but a lot of people that who have taken science, my friends including, they've told me how they lack that social skills because they're always in the lab, or it's a very secluded area of study. But in history, I think you talk to people a lot. So social skills, I think you develop a lot when you do a degree in arts, and that can help you with a lot of other career options.
Yeah. So when I did a trip to Bali, so I had somebody who's done history, okay, and she's from Europe, that female, and she was very young, in her 20s, and also half my age at that point of time. Both of us were hopping around here and there in the city. So, and for Bali, I have not written much in my book because it's very personal journey as well. So whatever I could write in the book, I've written. But what she does is she relates history and the places she visits with the movie. So, for example, I love Sound of Music a lot. It's a very old movie which came and talks about Austria. So I want to travel to Austria because I like that movie. So she relates. She talks about history and stories and movies together. So she was planning to do create a content in Insta and all.
Right.
So she's also, I mean, so I saw that people who take history have different passion. I mean, they can create career in whichever path they want. So I never knew
Yeah,
that
yeah. Again, like travel, and again,
content
as you
creation
said,
could.
travel and tourism. But that's something that I had like a lot of interest back in those days. Like I wanted, like again, like the everything relate again, comes down to history and traveling. Like again, content writer and the art of storytelling. Like you can be a
Absolutely.
storyteller. You can tell your stories through different medium, through pictures, through music. I know you do a lot of like doodle work and things. So you are again telling a story. The medium could be different. You can write, you can sing, you can dance. So that art of storytelling, I think you can develop through history, because again you're learning a lot of stories from the past.
So that was very fascinating for me, that content creation, linking movie to history to travel and all those things. So yeah, then I just, when you said now, I just remembered it. I thought I should have written it about the book. Something I missed. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can always write another book. I'm sure you can
Yeah.
write more.
No, I just, there's so many things when you meet people. There are so many things, right? And so I think I've left my piece of my heart in every place I've gone, somewhere
Oh,
or the
sure.
other.
Like, yeah. And also, I think something that I hate is when people. So, when I say that I have a PhD in history, people assume that I'm this very serious person who's always reading.
Ah,
I am not. You will hardly see me like talking about my research if I'm like outside the university. That's the I. You don't have to compartmentalize or put people in different boxes. You can be a lot of things. You can
yeah.
be a history researcher. You can be like a fun-loving, hiking, somebody who love hikes and travel. You can be a lot of people in, like, you can
So
be a lot
yes.
of characters.
So I was coming to the next question. So what is your life mantra and what makes you live your life to the fullest? Because I have seen you doing lot many things basically. So I'm even partying also, studying also, roaming around also, traveling, eating, everything. So how do you get time for all of these things, and what is your mantra? People, because youngsters, people must be thinking, yeah, boring hoga like history, hai na? So they may be
Oh no, I
studious.
think
It's a
so.
geek.
Again, like, it's something that I always tell people is like, please don't go by my social media profile. Please don't, because I wrote a post after I graduated, because a lot of my people from India, like a lot of students, they were like, oh my God, we want to be like you. You know, you are so lucky to have traveled. So I tell them it's not what you see on social media. That's only half of the story. There is also like a like half of my life where I have struggled to pay my bills, and have had anxiety and depression. So it's so. But having said that, I must say that I am that person who does not want to regret later, and I'm quite impulsive. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. So if I want to do something, and if I strongly feel about it, I will do it. So again, connecting back to it's being okay with making mistakes. You might make a mistake, but if you are making a mistake, you're learning from it, and there is nothing wrong from making a mistake. So I think that has helped me survive the whole lockdown and staying away from home. I'm that person, and I love, I'm a very people's person. At least I have become a people's person over the years. So having people with who are like non-judgmental, and having people with very positive outlook towards life has helped me.
Hmm.
So that's something I'm quite particular now. Just having, even if your circle is small, make sure you are with the right, like you are in the right circle. Even if it's
Hmm.
like very small, that doesn't. Even if you have like 5 friends, if they are good, that is more than enough. And if I want to do something,
Hmm.
something that I don't know from where I got it or from what point I picked this thing, but I'm always aware that this is like you only have one life, and life is short. And
Hmm.
probably, like, over the years, that's something that I'm very aware, I'm very conscious about it. So if I want to do something, I'm like, okay, I'll do it, like, say after 5 years. I'll no if I want to do something, I'm going to do that in the next couple of months. So I'm very aware of this, and I'm somebody who like love life. I'm not somebody, oh my God, I have to live and just make sure that I do things. No, I'm very grateful, and I'm very happy that I have this life, and I got a lot of opportunities that a lot of my friends did not get. So that ways I consider myself very privileged. It has been a lot of hard work, but then I got opportunities to travel to the places that I wanted to travel. I still have, like, as a traveler, you'll be able to relate. There's always a new place that you want to, the bucket list like never ends. But I'm very grateful for the people I have met over the years. So I love life. So that's why I don't want to waste it. That's something that that's something that I'm very sure of. Like, I don't want to look back in like 10 years and, oh my God, I should have done that. I don't want to do that.
So that's a good thing to know. So I also, I've went through transformation because of traveling as well. So I also used to search for something. Now I feel that you can create your own life. So probably
Yeah.
people call me now a creative accountant rather than a boring chartered accountant. So that's the change people are seeing. But for me, it's not change. I'm still the same person. But
Yeah.
yeah, I try to do a lot of things. So if I have to live for 100 years, I'm okay. If I have to die tomorrow morning, if I don't wake up, I'm okay with that because that's the
Yeah.
life I'm living.
Yeah.
So yeah, so probably that's the thing I'm trying to create for myself as well. That yeah, a life which I love to live basically.
Yeah,
And
I think that's something that I've also told my students, like travel as much as you can. Like, I think traveling makes you a better human being for sure.
it definitely
Even
does.
if you can't travel to like foreign, it's not just traveling abroad and, traveling, leaving. It's even if it's your own hometown, you will be surprised to see how many places that you haven't visited. So just travel, talk to people from all age groups. While you travel, you
That's
have to talk to people, right? So that is also like makes you a better human being, I think.
yeah. So people ask me why do I enjoy solo traveling? Because when I keep telling them that solo travel doesn't mean you're alone. You meet so many strangers in
You
life
meet,
who
yeah,
become friends.
yeah,
Yes. At the end, you are never alone. That's what I have realized it.
yeah,
So solo travel is just you begin alone from your home. But rest is
yeah,
not. When you come back, it's with lots of memories and lots of connections you have. Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks,
So
Meera, for
true.
your time. So coming on the show, talking to us, it was really nice to see you after 5 years of we've not seen.
Yeah,
It's been 5 years, right? So it was really nice to
almost,
see you take
yes.
that. And it was nice talking to you as well. So is there any questions you have for us or anything for youngsters to convey, or
No,
you're
so
done?
again, thank you for having me. It's been such a privilege, and congratulations on this whole series, because I know you are like, even when I talk to my mother and my sister, like they all talk about how passionate you are about the transformation that you've gone through and the book that you wrote. So you have done a lot in the past couple of years, and it takes a lot of courage to do things that when people are not, even when you don't have like a supportive circle. So congrats to you on this initiative. Especially, I wish I had something like this in my growing up years. It would have made such a big difference. So definitely, but maybe you have said that in one of the episodes, but I would love to hear like what made you start this series.
So probably it's after travel, I was completely blank. I went to it. I told you that after I came back, I did not know what to do basically. So there are a lot of things happen in your life which gets you to a point where you want to look for whys in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So when I found that there's a purpose which needs to be done, and probably I did not have a job when I came back. I did not have a job. People were not actually very supportive for me because having left a very good job with a good title and all those things. Now I had no title, I had no money. So people were not only relatives or friends or known people. Everybody was scared that I might be dependent on them. And probably I met the right set of people who told me that my travel is not something I should be looking down upon. I should be really proud of that, and that changed the game plan. So I should position myself as somebody who's learned from it. It's an experiential learning. It's changed my leadership skills and stuff like that. So what all it has taught me, that is how when I started looking at travel as such. So it told me that there's more to it, and I need to find my purpose. And then I read a book called Ikigai. Then I met right set of like what happens. I believe in law of attraction. So when I was traveling, also I was getting people similar to the things which I was doing. If I was going from one trek to the other, I was getting the people who were advising on the coming treks. Or it was falling in place like that. The same way when I was looking for my purpose, I happened to do NLP, that is neuro linguistic
Mm.
program, which
Mm.
helped me to understand why I am the way I am. So at least when you get to know who you are, you start accepting yourself, and then it's easy to, if you want to change, it is easy to change as well. So that made me realize that this is something which I was lacking. Life skills are something which I was lacking. So when I am lacking on something, I should help others also to learn that. And
Mm.
if I would have got that at an early stage, it would have helped my journey much better. So that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
true.
That's how it starts basically. Something when you see it missing in your life, or something which you want to do for yourself, that is what you will want to do for others as well. So that's the reason we thought youngsters maybe should be given this skill sets so that they can help them to cope up hardships in life, so that they
Yeah.
don't fail in life. It's not failing an exam. It's life is a bad. Every question paper is different. They should not fail in life. They should not have regrets in life, basically. So just
Yeah.
focusing on that. So I think long answer to your short question.
No. That's so again, like, congrats on doing this. And I, as I said, like, I wish I had something like this, growing up, and I wish we had these conversations. But again, like, sometimes when I think back, it's like we are also learning. So, we were also young and we are also learning things. So
Yeah, so maybe when I have those workshops, maybe I can ask you to talk about history or talk about life skills for
yeah,
youngsters.
sure.
If this time suits and all, and those sessions can be done in schools and all. So
Yeah,
we'll do that as
sure.
well. Yeah.
But this
Okay,
is like a productive way. So I have done something productive on this Christmas. So I'll remember this Christmas like forever.
I'm glad that you felt like that. So yeah, so enjoy your holiday season in New Zealand. Also have a
Yeah.
great year ahead. So hope you have a wonderful year ahead. Thanks viewers
Yes.
for coming on the show. Let me see if there are any questions. I think there's no questions. So yeah, somebody has said hi to everybody. Hope you enjoyed our session with Meera and the talk about the discussions about history as well. I think again we've lost Meera. Yes, the connection is bad. Huh? So yeah, so next episode is going to be on Thursday, which is 30th of December. That is going to be the last episode of season 2, and we'll not be having any more Kapi Poha sessions. So we'll be starting with the workshops next year onwards. So that's the update I had to give all of you. Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year to you. And let me see if she's able to join in. So yeah, I was telling the viewers that next week Thursday is the last episode of our Kapi Poha session, and probably I will not be doing any season 3 or something because it's going to be 50 episodes and 50 guests have already come on the show. So
Wow.
these two,
That's a big achievement. So congrats again.
thank you. So these stories would go into my website, which is NiMiTHAM's website, and I've been writing unknown known series blog as well, which also turned out to be 50 now. So these also will become part of my website. And these series are because I love Sushant Singh Rajput. I don't know if you know that actor.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of Sushant Singh. So he had talked in some of the some discussions that were happening. He had mentioned about known unknown, the jury window. So from there I picked up known and unknown series. So I typically write what is impacting my life, the experience I gain from whatever I read or meet people. So I put that in a small blog. So that's how Unknown Known series started. So maybe once the website is up, I'll start something different where I can share my thoughts with people as well.
Yeah,
so is there
wonderful.
any question? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Susan. Yeah, hope everybody enjoyed the show. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Bye then. So I think it's going to be 3 or 4 in the morning, right?
Yes.
Yes. Now you can go
that's
back to
okay.
sleep.
Yes,
Yeah.
going back to sleep. So bye again. Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
Yeah, I'll share the links of this video as well. Okay. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Please do. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.